Today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing rational equations. So we're going to take what you know about multiplying and dividing fractions and then about simplifying fractions, and we're going to pull it all together with algebra. So just to review real quickly, when I multiply fractions, I go straight across. So I'm going to get 30m, and then 3 times 10 is 30, and m squared times m is m cubed. And then I'm going to reduce 30 over 30 cancels out or is 1. Then m over m cubed. Remember that your largest exponent is in the denominator, and we're going to subtract. So it's going to be m squared. You can't just leave the denominator empty, so it's going to be a 1. Okay. If you wanted to, we could also cross reduce, except I don't think, we're not able to really in this fraction. 8 times 2 is 16, and then a squared, and 5 times 3 is 15. A squared a to the 4th is a to the 6th. And then we can reduce the a's. Again, the biggest power of the a is in the denominator, so the a is going to go in the denominator, and 6 minus 2 is 4. So just kind of a refresh from Algebra 1. Okay. So if I'm going to multiply rational expressions or even divide them, the first thing I always want to do is I want to factor. Once I've factored, I can cancel the like terms or expressions, and then I'm going to multiply numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator, and then I'm going to look to simplify yet again. In division, remember we want to flip the fraction after the division sign. Now that's going to change how we look at excluded values. In the last lesson, we learned that excluded values were the denominator set equal to 0 and then solved. This time you have to look at the numerator of the fraction you're going to flip as well. So everything here is already factored, and if I were to look at excluded values, I would get 6k squared can't equal 0, so k squared can't equal 0, and k can't be 0. Okay, from here, and then k minus 7, if that can't equal 0, k can't be 7. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at reducing. So when I reduce, I've got a 6k squared here and a 6k squared there, so they're going to cancel. My 7's actually cancel too, so I can, and then I have k minus 7 and k minus 7. Even though they're not in the same fraction, they can still reduce as well. So in this case, everything canceled out, and if everything cancels out, that means it's just 1. Okay, because 1 over 1 is 1. 6k squared over 6k squared is 1. So when everything cancels out, it's 1. All right, in this example, it's division. We've got to include this x plus 8 as one of our excluded values, so x can't be 8, negative 8, and x can't be 10, because x minus 10 equals 0, x would be 10. So I'm going to flip, what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip the second fraction so that it's x plus 8 over 1, and then we multiply. But the 7x, or the x minus 10s cancel, and that leaves us with 7 over x plus 8, and then the x plus 8s cancel as well, so that just leaves me with 7 over 1 or 1. Okay. In order to reduce, if it's a term like that, the whole term has to be the same in order for it to cancel out. Okay. Another example. Now this time's nothing's factored, so I'm going to factor everything. And I tend to do work over, if it's factoring, actually there's not really more than one step here to these factors. But if it does, I do scratch work off to the side. I got to flip the second fraction. So it's r squared plus 3r minus 40 over r plus 8. And then we're going to leave the other fraction alone. So the top of the first fraction, I need factors of negative 24 that add to 5. and that's going to be positive 8 and negative 3. So it factors to r plus 8 and r minus 3. On the bottom, I need factors of 15 that add to 8, and that's going to be negative 3 and negative 5. So r minus 3 times r minus 5. In the second fraction on the top, I need factors of negative 40 that add to 3, and that's going to be positive 8 and negative 5. So this factors to r plus 8 and r minus 5. I hope you guys are trusting me by now with that, although you guys know me in arithmetic. All right, so now I'm going to cancel. I have an r plus 8 on both the top and the bottom here. I have an r minus 5 on the top of this fraction and r minus 5 on the bottom of that one. And then I have an r minus 3 and an r minus 3 there. So what's left is r plus 8. So that's my final answer. Okay. This time it's multiplication, so I don't need to flip, but I'm going to factor. I'm going to factor out the greatest common factor at the top of a 5 so that I get b plus 5. On the bottom, I need factors of negative 30 that add to negative 1. So negative 6 and 5. So that factors to r minus 6, or b plus 6, and b plus 5. In the second, factors of 24 that add to negative 10 are going to be negative 6 and negative 4. So b minus 6, b minus 4. And then on the bottom is just b plus 7. Okay, so if I cancel out my like terms, this b plus 5, this b plus 5 cancels, the b minus 6 and the b minus 6 cancel. And I'm left with 5 times b minus 4 over b minus 7. We can't factor out or simplify out the b's because that's one whole number. Okay, if you put 5 in there, that would be like saying 5 times 1 over 5 or over 12, and that can't be simplified. So the whole expression has to be exactly the same in order to cancel it out. All right, so today we just looked at how to multiply and divide rational expressions. Have a math-tastic day.